In the high standards of today's action figure collectible landscape, it takes more than just the procurement of your favorite characters to experience the full scope of this hobby. A collector's display cases and shelving play a huge factor in terms of one's enjoyment for this pastime. But unless you have endless vertical and horizontal display space, one needs to get at least a little creative in terms of optimizing how to arrange the toys to be showcased in one's collection. I'm happy to say that the company Fresh Retro has our interests in mind when it comes to this conundrum, and I'm here today to talk about some options that they have to offer. Stay tuned. This video is brought to you by Ages 3 and Up, your all-in-one source for official and third-party action figure fun. Please visit their website and fill your collecting needs today. The link is in the description below. When I visited Ages 3 and Up's physical store location just outside of Vancouver, BC, Canada, it was refreshing to see Fresh Retro's wide array of diorama display options, which are ideally compatible for 1/18th and 1/24th scale figures. So, whether one chooses the Watchtower style display, the Fortifications option, or Iron Net diorama base, there's plenty here to choose from. For now, what I'll be showing you in this video is the guard tower, and how it displays with my vintage G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero collection, aka the 3 3/4 inch figures that gave me and so many other kids a lot of fun growing up in the 80s and early 90s. I'll be sure to show you how they scale with other figures as well, to give you an idea of the flexibility of this brand's display features. The assembly does take a bit of time, and for me it took somewhere in the neighborhood of an hour to put this particular set together, but bear in mind that I was also filming and staging my setup for video purposes, so you may be able to do it in less time. The pieces do come labeled nicely in plastic Ziploc bags, so in general the assembly is intuitive, even for someone like myself who doesn't usually do a lot of customization. The set is primarily targeted for an adult audience, being rated for ages 16 and up. The parts count is just over 100 pieces, though the set does come with some extra clips for the purpose of being able to connect the guard tower to other sets that I showed earlier on, or even to a second guard tower. I will be following the instructions that were provided as part of this set, but this set and all others by Fresh Retro are highly customizable, so if you do decide to do your own configuration or mix the pieces with other sets to create your own ultimate diorama, the option is certainly available. Naturally, the instructions have you assemble this in a bottoms-up approach, which makes sense seeing as the platform needs to come together at the bottom before you snap the modular units on top of it. It is all pretty simple, and as I alluded to earlier, I wouldn't classify myself as being very handy or as someone who customizes his figures to the same degree as other people that I know, but I can honestly say that I did not have a hard time putting this set together whatsoever. The ladders as well as the stair railings add a nice touch to give this a sense of realism, and in this particular case I like that the ladders are a much lighter color to provide the proper contrast and help the entire playset stand out as a whole. As you build your way to the top, you can more or less see the structure come together, and in the end you do get that military guard tower type feel that this set is trying to convey. The overall structure stands just shy of 16 inches in height with a base of 15 inches by 10 inches. That's just to give you guys an idea of the visual for this scale. Looking at this from several angles, hopefully it gives you all some level of excitement to feel like throwing some figures on and seeing how it all looks together. Now, for me, I just need a volunteer or a group of volunteers off of my shelves to stand in and show us how this is done. So now that I've tossed the decals on and thrown some figures onto here, let me ask you all, how do you like the way it looks with some of these early O-ring style G.I. Joe figures displayed on here? For me personally, I think it does fit quite naturally, and the color scheme isn't too far off from the original 1983 headquarters or other playsets and vehicles from this era. So in my opinion, it does fit quite naturally with your official G.I. Joe figures. Now there is a lot of space in here that you can put way more figures than I've shown, but I just wanted you all to get an idea and a feel for this. There's also some various bays at the bottom where you can roll vehicles in and out if you choose. And if you ever so decide, the ruthless terrorist organization known as Cobra can fortify this base too if that happens to be your preference. And as you can see here, they do look pretty natural hanging out in this complex. And we've even got Serpentor giving watch from his air chariot from above. And here's an idea for how it looks with your modern 4-inch G.I. Joe figures, and as for the 1/24th scale figures, here's some old school mask figures and their vehicles. As you can see, no adjustments were made at all to accommodate these figures in the guard tower. They just fit naturally, and personally, I really like how the vehicles store themselves very nicely on the bottom level. Here's a look at how the 6-inch scale figures, such as Marvel Legends in this case, happens to fit on this set. And while they do look a bit big in this particular configuration, I am willing to bet that Fresh Retro is wise enough to add stairs, ladders, and railings that are the size to accommodate figures of this scale. And with only minimal creativity and a little desire, it is easy enough to remove some of the middle floor panels and rearrange the diorama to fit 6-inch figures if you want. Again, this is just a standard assembly that I put together. Absolutely nothing to stop any of you from customizing to your own desired setup. So I am going to throw this back to you guys who've been watching this video. Let me know, does a diorama like this have a place in your collection? How does it look when displaying figures from some of my favorite franchises? Do let me know, please, in the comments section below if I've succeeded in giving my fellow collectors another option for enhancing their display features at home. And before I sign off, I do want to remind all of you to subscribe and press that like button if you did enjoy this video. Also, if you're interested in helping the channel grow, please head over to my Patreon site at patreon.com/toyconnections, where you'll be able to support me while unlocking some behind-the-scenes content and other bonuses. The link is in the description below, as is the list of names from my existing Patreon supporters. Otherwise, that's it for this round. Hopefully, you've enjoyed this diorama setup, and I will see you again soon with some more of my favorite toys. Take care.